What up, what up? It's Chayton and I. It's Ryan. We're over here talking about sports. Coming through. Oh yeah, what it do? Me and Ryan coming through talking about sports. Yeah, Chayton. Ryan, Chayton. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, Chayton. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, 85 yards. 85 yards. Coming through with the 85 yards. Gonna run the football. Gonna do real good. Gonna talk about sports like you know we should. 85 yards. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man.
Is
Dude,
that better?
I completely forgot about that from last week's. Because, like, I didn't have a chance to, like, do anything with it. And so, like, now that you just did that, I have to go back and either that one or whatever happened last week and figure out, like, the intro song to make whatever you're doing.
I can't wait to hear these plugs. Like that you're like dropping in and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
it's going to be phenomenal. Just know that. Amazing.
Well, it's going to be different every week because and for those of you who know, this is 85 yards. If that wasn't clear,
right. I mean, it wasn't very clear.
If it wasn't clear, this is 85 yards. Sports talk show, bringing this conversations from the bar to your speakers. Chayton and I, Ryan McClincy. I can't read worth of shit, so we're just going to go off the cuff for these intros. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, that was not rehearsed or planned in any way, shape, or form from Che Booty Nye, which, as only Booty the Kid can do,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's flawless. It's just flawless.
What was it in The Office when he was like explaining? He was like, sometimes I'll just start a sentence and I don't know where it's going, and I hope I find it along the way. Like that's 100%. Definitely me.
Yeah,
that's definitely me. So, how goes it, buddy? Starting your week out?
It's good, man. New job. New workflow and trying to figure everything out during the day, but definitely very busy. But good busy, so can't really complain too much. Getting some work done during the day, which is very different from the last 8 months for the large part. So
right,
I'm excited. But what about you, man? How's it been?
Same here, man. Just super busy, super. This time of year always is like that. It seems like as fall turns into winter is coming. As that kind of happens, this is my busiest time of the year. So, but other than that, good, man. Good. Ready to talk some sports and some wham, bam, lam, bam, bam, wham, nam, jam.
Wham-a-lamma ding dong.
Wham-a-lamma ding dong.
Do you know what I was actually thinking about like earlier today as I was going through and like putting together Wham? I was like, man, there's not like, I've got plenty, obviously, for college football, got plenty for NFL. Other than that, I mean, the World Series is going on, obviously. But then I was like, man, there's not really anything else to talk about.
Other than football.
Unless I'm saying, like, okay, well, in a few weeks, here in November, in December, we're going to have the NBA is going to come back and like all this kind of shit. But it's like, okay, well, I could do that next week too. So, right. I mean, it's not really, it doesn't actually matter until it's closer to it. It's just happening. So
it doesn't actually matter yet. And we talk about only what actually matters.
Right. But that to me, this part of the year is always what actually matters because it's just football and it's just like, it's just
such a me. Yeah, just all the football. Well, and it's like a weird time because like October, November, December is typically when college basketball and the NBA starts. Like, think about it. Usually Halloween night's like the first start of the NBA season usually. So, how the schedule works out. And so we kind of got spoiled. Like, it was just weird. Like August and September was like every sport like going on at once. And now we're going to have to wait. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, college basketball is still planning on starting like end of November, December,
25th.
right?
Yeah, November 25th. And
that's going to be fun.
The NBA draft is the 18th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's coming up. We've got the Masters the weekend of the 12th.
Masters.
I mean, there's stuff coming. It's just like it's still a ways away. That it's like it doesn't actually matter right now. So I was like, man, it's just football right now, and I love that.
I love it.
I wish it was just this all year round, just football.
We definitely need to figure out how we could get football 6 months a year, because it's so sad, dude. We're gonna blink and it's gonna be gone in January. Like we get 2.5, 3 months really with the playoffs left of it, but it just I'm always just sad. We get 5 months of wonderment and 7 months off.
One of those months is half of it. There is no football.
Yeah, they're just waiting on it. Yeah, exactly.
You're just waiting. So I don't know,
Agreed.
but. Anyways, what are you drinking?
Good, sir. I'm drinking a nice little Dasani. I'm like I said, feeling a little under the weather last week. Your boy fully recovered, so just taking it easy. We will partake in the festivities.
Bringing the conversation from the bar to your speakers and
sipping on
drink fucking water.
Sipping on water. I got my pinky out there. Hey, listen, you got the straight stuff for us. What are you drinking on, brother?
I'm double fisting it over here.
Good. Putting it in for me, putting in that work.
I had to do this with you on the show because there's only one reason why I bought this whiskey.
Ooh.
Okay, so I've got two different whiskeys here. One that's like actually one that I bought because I thought it would be good. And then the other one was realistically only because Ohio State played on Saturday. Okay. So this whiskey...
Is it like made from Buckeyes? Like it's like triple malt?
It's peanut butter whiskey.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Squirrel. Because, nuts.
Right. I love nuts.
I don't like flavored stuff. I don't like flavored liquor really that much. So I questioned it. But then I was like, you know what? We're making Buckeye bars on Saturday. Before Saturday. I was like, but we're going to have them for the game. So I've got me a nice little Buckeye bar. See what you do. Just take a bite from the Buckeye bar or sip first, whichever flow you want to do it. Don't matter. Don't matter.
You can do whatever. Whatever you can do. Bite and a drink and a bite.
You just take a little bite. Take a little sip.
That looked so good.
It's just peanut butter on chocolate.
Damn. You know what I do? Typically, whenever I eat a Reese's, this is the level of fat ass that I am. I'll literally just let it sit in my mouth and let the heat from my mouth like melt it. And then I'll just sit there like, yeah. And it's so like, I feel like a dog when you put a treat on the end of their snout and they just sit there and let it wait. Like, cause I just sit there and let it melt and I'm like, oh, it's going to be so good. That's, I'm on that level.
Chayton also used to do a lot of other questionable things when it came to sweets.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I will go ahead and say it. In college, I went through a phase where I would just take butter and cinnamon sugar, and I would eat it. And the heartburn, I felt like a dragon afterward. I could breathe fire from the heartburn that gave me. That used to be a midnight snack that your boy would definitely partake in. So when it comes to,
correct me if I'm wrong, but you also used to take the little individual like Hershey's and Dove little candies,
Oh yeah,
and just dip them in a container of peanut butter.
Oh, I totally did that. Hell, I still do that. I'm kind of proud.
But that's just like you could make it nice, or hell, you could just buy a freaking Reese's cup. but instead, you just straight up just bachelor pad living. It's okay. So actually, have you watched Ted Lasso yet?
No, I have not.
I told you to watch it. You need to watch it because
you did tell me to watch it.
Will fucking love it. It's got Jason Sudeikis is the main character. Okay, and he's
solid.
He was the head football coach at Wichita State, and brought them to a D2 national championship or whatever. And he's like known for being like this player's coach, you know? Well, this soccer team in England hires him to be their head football coach. And he has no idea about football or anything like that, but he's just this good old Southern boy, and it's just Jason Sudeikis, and it's hilarious. But there's one thing that he does, and it made me think of you the second that it happened. God. But he said he just leaves a tub of peanut butter open on his counter in his kitchen so that whenever he walks by, he can just take a scoop out of his finger and just eat it.
Yeah, bro, why not? Easy access.
Have people over, and he's just like, he just points it to him, and he's like, "You want some?
You want some? You want this right here?"
And I'm like, "No, I'm good.
I'm good." Nah. I don't want the community. I don't want the community peanut butter gob bucket. Yeah.
Like, Chayton would have that, I feel like.
I'm going to do that. Whenever I start entertaining, I'm just going to keep open like Nutella and and peanut butter.
Take one of each. And then
hey, no double dipping.
Mix them together.
One finger.
Which one is your Nutella finger? Which one is your peanut butter finger?
Yes.
Your Jif and Nutella.
Yes. So, it's the best time of the day. You see, we coming through history. Yeah. Gonna get Cam. Hey, it's wham.
Gonna get Cam?
I don't know.
I don't even know. I'm oh, Chayton, what are we gonna do with you?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think one take Timmy.
What are we gonna do with you? So, what actually matters?
Oh, sorry about that. Whammy.
Ohio State, despite a slow start, turned it all the way around and beat Nebraska. Northwestern, I almost said that.
Mm-hmm.
That's later.
Same thing.
Beat Nebraska 52-17 behind a near perfect day from the one and only Justin Fields. 20 of 21 for 276 and 2 touchdowns. Also added on 54 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So it's a pretty solid day for the old gunslinger there. Wisconsin football will have to forever live their 45-7 beatdown of Illinois, during which the new quarterback, Graham Mertz, shined. It's great. He was fantastic. 5 touchdown passes. Then he got COVID.
Wait a minute!
And so now he's going to miss the next 3 games. So, short-lived reign there, Graham.
Damn.
Clemson won. Alabama won. Life goes on.
Wham, bam, thank you, fam.
After a dull performance last week, Notre Dame cruised against Pitt 45-3. The Okies improve to 4-0 after beating number 17 Iowa State 24-21.
Whammy!
Number 9 Cincinnati. Number 9 Cincinnati. Say that with me.
It sounds weird.
Cincinnati.
What's weirder, number 9 Cincinnati or number 22 Marshall?
Oh, don't worry, I get there later.
Do you?
Number 9 Cincinnati beat down number 16 SMU 42-13.
Wham bam hotline.
The U narrowly escapes the V, Virginia. Thanks to a strong third quarter, North Carolina beat NC State. Wake Forest upset Virginia Tech 23-16. That team up north rose the boat to a W at Minnesota. Final there was 49-24.
Get you a Lamburger, some French fries.
Who's your daddy, Penn State? It's Indiana. Despite being outgained 488-211, Indiana gets the victory at home, upsetting the Nittany Lions 36-35 in overtime by the thinnest of margins. Almost
Insane.
A whisker, if you will. As for this weekend, though not a ton of mouth-watering matchups, we do have a battle of unbeatens, though. Indiana at Rutgers.
Whammy!
So
Yeah,
it'll be an exciting game. But Texas does play in Stillwater against the conference-leading Oklahoma State Okies.
Whammy!
We've got Oklahoma ranked again, but they take on Texas Tech and Lubbock, so could it be 3? We'll see.
Does somebody need a ambulance?
And the matchup of the week, though slightly deflated, will be number 18, Penn State, hosting number 3, Ohio State.
Big time matchup. Big time matchup. We'll talk about it here in a sec.
Oh, sorry about that. Whammy.
Moving on to the NFL, there is one unbeaten team remaining. Sorry, Chayton, but the Pittsburgh Steelers did, in fact, beat the Titans despite almost blowing that lead.
Wham Bam Hotline.
And the Cardinals also beat the Seahawks, taking out the Seahawks' unbeaten season.
Whammy.
Both games won by a 3-point margin, which we'll also get to here in a second.
Yeah.
Brownies, my beloved Brownies, moved to 5-2 after sweeping the Bengals thanks to some late-game heroics by Baker Mayfield and Donovan Peoples-Jones to outshine the late-game heroics by one Joe Burrow.
Somebody call the ambulance.
The Bills narrowly escaped the Jets, but alas, the Jets take the L and remain winless. Patriots, they looked bad.
Off a bye.
The Bucks looked good. The Belichick versus Brady saga continues.
Wham Bam, thank you, fam.
And in some non-game news, Antonio Brown signs a deal with the aforementioned Bucks. Des Bryant signs a deal to be on the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. And free agent Eric Reed declines the opportunity to join the Washington practice squad because who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Whammy.
Major League Baseball, the World Series is continuing as we speak in Game 6.
Got it on in the background.
In the World Series update, the Dodgers have taken a 3-2 series lead, losing Game 4 in the oddest way I've ever seen a baseball game end.
Nuts.
And winning Game 5 behind none other than Clayton Kershaw. Wham. And lastly, in the only other news that really matters in the sporting world, Khabib wins. And then he retires.
Wham Bam, thank you, fam.
Yeah, my pick wasn't really on. Yeah, I would have lost that. Did you see that Khabib said that the reason? So Khabib had him instead of a triangle choke. Gaethje has said many times publicly he'll never tap. So like snap his arm, snap his leg, like he will not tap. And his parents were in the crowd, and Khabib knew that he wouldn't tap. So if you watch, he actually set him up for an arm bar, but knew he would have to break his arm to win. So he instead gave him a triangle choke and just put him to sleep because he won't tap either from going unconscious. So he choked him out. And
mercy.
Yeah, it was a mercy killing. That's exactly what Joe Rogan said. It was a mercy killing. He's the best of all time. John Jones, did you see him going off?
John Jones can't talk to me.
No, not at all.
John Jones can't say shit.
Nope.
Unless he can stay fucking clean for more than 5 seconds.
I know.
To actually fight or retain a fucking title, then you can't say anything. If you could, then yeah, you would have an argument. I would see that argument, but you can't. So shut the fuck up.
That's exactly how I feel about John. Snort all the cocaine you want outside of fight camps. Yeah.
I don't care. Like, just don't. I'm just tired of getting like all these hyped up matches that feature John Jones, and then the week of, all of a sudden it's canceled and they've got to scramble to try and find another contender because John Jones is out snorting coke.
Yeah. Or do it. He's 100% cycle steroids, like a lot.
Yeah,
you look at pictures of him, he 100% is on roids. And that's just not fair. You're a cheater. I mean, that's what that is. So, I mean, that's, John should be the GOAT. I think everybody can recognize his talent. And I know Khabib's up there too. But you always know whenever people let you know how they really feel. And John had 12 tweets about Khabib's not the GOAT, blah, blah. Are you threatened, son? Are you threatened? Because 28-0 or 29-0, yeah, you're definitely threatened. So
eat this Buckeye bar.
Eat the Buckeye. Let it just melt in your mouth and salivate. Yeah. So, couple things. All right, biggest takeaway from the NFL. It kind of hit me while we were going through Wham. the Cowboys, the dumpster fire that has turned into the Cowboys. Did you hear Jerry Jones was on their morning radio show this morning, and he told the announcer to shut up? He's like on their like Dallas morning radio or whatever, and he like does this weekly call in on Tuesdays, and they were like, Jerry, 2-5, nobody looks like in the locker room that they're leading, and he was like, well, you could shut up. Like, he tells him that this morning, and like later in the interview he apologized, but like,
fucking tell him, Jerry.
Yeah, that's you there. Yeah, exactly. He said, you shut up.
You shut up.
And so, but it's the truth, man. The biggest thing that showed that, so I'm sure you saw the hit on Andy Dalton where they took his soul, basically.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is that football out of all the sports is the biggest, like, a will sport. Like, there are two words that you don't throw around in football: soft and quit. Those are the two things. Nobody ever wants to be thought of as soft, and no one ever wants to say that you quit. That was soft as shit. If you let your quarterback get hit like that and you don't immediately run over and shove them, do something and just say like, that shit ain't happening. Like, we can suck. You can beat us all day. You're not going to punk us though. That, and I thought it was really, that is devoid of leadership. I mean, if you hit my quarterback like that in a very illegal manner, whenever he's giving himself up and you want to hit him in the head like that, like, I'm gonna have something to say. So it's just indicative of McCarthy doesn't have that locker room.
No, I don't think he ever did. I mean, I don't know that he was even brought on as a head coach to have the locker room, because he never had the locker room in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not been known to be that guy. Like, I think you kind of hope that he didn't have to be that guy, because you hope that like Dak is the guy, you know, or Zeke, or Amari Cooper, or, you know, somebody on the defense, like, and you just don't have it. And so, like, or you lose players, right? Like, you lose Dak Prescott, so now he's not there. And then, you know, because you're not very good, like, Zeke's struggling, and so he's going to be pissed off, you know, and then Cooper's
putting the ball on the deck.
And then you put in Andy Dalton, and he just gets fucking blitzed. Like, that was, I mean, he went limp. He had to be gone for a second. Yeah. Yeah. It was bad. And like, yeah, it's just been, I guess, that kind of year, to say the least, but in all honesty, it's been that kind of decade for the Cowboys.
Agreed.
I mean, they couldn't finish with Romo, but at least with Romo you had consistency there, right? Like, you kind of always knew you were going to be right on that verge, and you played in kind of a shitty division. I mean, dude, that division is fucking terrible this year.
The worst division.
You are 2-4 and you were in first place.
Yeah, the worst division I can remember in the last 5 years. Like, this is the worst division in the last 5 years for sure.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if the winner of the NFC East is 6-10 come the end of the season,
you shouldn't get to play. I'm sorry.
Right?
Like, you should. I don't think you should get to. No.
When you have like, okay, so look at the AFC North, right? AFC North, you got 6-0, 5-1, 5-2, 1-5, and then NFC West, 5-1, 5-2, 5-2, 4-3.
Yeah,
it's so absurd that you could go, you know, you could win 4 games in another division. Like, let's say the Cardinals or Rams finish second in that division, and they're 12-4, 11-5, and they miss because a team that's 6-10 is going to.
I guess, here's my thing. You were talking about the NFC or the AFC North. If you took the Bengals right now and stuck them in that division, that's the best team in the division. Like, if you could just add the Bengals to the NFC North with the Giants, the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, the Bengals are the best team in that division, and they're 1-5, the worst team. Like, that's how bad the talent discrepancy is. I would take the Bengals against any one of those 4 teams on a neutral any day of the week in a pick 'em for sure. Yep. So, you know, they're terrible. It's really bad. You a lot, like we said, a lot of close games. That was the other takeaway that I had from the NFL. The Cowboys were terrible. A lot of close, really good games. Really moving forward too in college as well. I know you don't like this take. Michigan looked good to me. That was kind of the story from Saturday.
Okay. They did.
I know you hate it.
I told you before. I thought they looked good. Okay, but I didn't think that they looked so good that all of a sudden now I'm questioning whether or not they're actually, like, whether they are or are not a good team. Like, I kind of assumed they'd be the same that Michigan always is. Decent enough to lose 2 games.
Decent enough to lose.
And I still think
you can't even get decent enough.
They will be decent enough to lose 2 games. They'll lose to Ohio State, and they'll drop one somewhere.
This is the most interesting year for Ohio State and Michigan. I think we're going to roll Penn State this weekend. Michigan's very interesting, to say the least. Very interesting to me.
I really hope that the hype around Joe Milton and this offense and like all this shit is just continues, because it'll just make it that much sweeter when we beat him by 40. So,
I've had to hear Joe Milton, people talking like he's the second coming of Montana.
He's Cam 2.0.
Cam 2.0.
Dude, Cam 2.0. They've already had people on boards calling him Cam Newton 2.0. He's a mix of Cam and like fucking Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and like, I don't know, fucking Michael Vick. Like, he's just a combination of every amazing quarterback with whatever skill set you need to be an amazing quarterback. He is that.
He can run like Lamar. He's got a cannon like Vic. Right. He's the body of Cam Newton. Like, right. Yeah, he's everything.
He throws for 240 yards. Ooh.
Yeah, he looked just like a decent quarterback. I was shocked at their defense. Looked really good. They can run the ball. I mean, it's just it looked like it looked different.
See, those were the 2 things that I assumed they would do this year. Good
be able
defense,
to run the ball and play good D.
Be able to run the ball, because they've got a stable of running backs.
Chris Evans has been there for 15 years.
Their offensive line generally plays well. Like they are able to produce linemen. That's never been in question. And you still have Don Brown as your defensive coordinator. Like, you're still going to play good enough defense.
Right.
But you're not going to beat the teams like Ohio State, who play such a unique style of offense, and there's so much to have to cover offensively. I don't know that they match up to a team like that. To a team like Minnesota, where there's one guy on the outside that you really need to cover, that's easier. All you really have to do is have a stud corner or decent enough like zone play to be able to take him out. And like, if you can do that, then what is Minnesota going to do?
I agree. It's a little bit of how good really is Minnesota. Are they a fake ranked team? Like, should they have been ranked at all? Having said that, at the same time, going on the road, primetime game to start the year, 50 points. I'm not saying,
like impressive. I said, I still think that they did look better than I thought they would look. Like, I mean, I thought they were going to lose. I thought they would lose that game. So they looked much better than I thought they would. But I think we have to wait another week at least to see what Minnesota really is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or to see what a rivalry game, like, I mean, Michigan State obviously losing to Rutgers is a bad omen, but you never know what happens in a game like that. So who knows? I don't see that happening at all, but maybe they digress and then show you what they actually are as a team. Like, I don't know. I won't judge until I've seen at least a little bit more from them, but they definitely did look better than I thought.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The game's going to be real interesting here in December, but we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back to an interesting take here shortly on who we think the number 1 overall pick should be this year. You'll be shocked.
Stay tuned. All right, so you'll go ahead and start this off.
Okay.
Let's rock through this.
Sweet.
Take a break, get to some picks.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I'm gonna be short, be sweet, be in and out.
Just like normal, Chayton. You set me up so well for that. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Keep that. Oh, okay. Hello. It's back to the show. Gonna tell you what I think.
Well, that one wasn't as good.
Yeah, we're not using that. Don't use that one.
That one wasn't as good.
All right. So, listen, let me preface this by saying I like to think of myself as an Ohio State realist. I love Ohio State. Born and raised. I used to say Eddie George was my brother. I told everybody that. I would go up to random people in the supermarket and just tell them whenever I was super young, hey, Eddie George is my brother. Yeah.
Why am I not surprised by that?
I told everybody, like, people would say, hey, Chayton, how old are you? I'd say, I'm 6. Eddie George is my brother. So that's what I said. Love Ohio State. Having said that, I am definitely a realist whenever it comes to Ohio State topics, but I just can't ignore this anymore, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. There's a lot of talk. Look, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are the two best quarterback prospects that we've honestly seen in probably the last 5 years at least. I know Andrew Luck was really highly touted coming out, almost like a can't-miss prospect. These two are far and away. I mean, I've heard a lot of these analysts, like Kuiper was talking about it a little bit a couple weeks ago, like they're potentially the best two prospects we've seen since Elway. That's nuts in 20 years. They really seem virtually unbustable. And everybody kind of has been saying, like, okay, Lawrence is probably 1, Fields is probably 2. After Sunday, just so we're clear, we have a 20-game sample size for Justin Fields. Total in his collegiate career, he's played in 20 football games. These are the stats that Justin Fields has put up. 68.8% completion percentage, 3,800 yards, 47 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, quarterback rating of 183.5. Now, that's just passing. His rushing statistics are 200 carries for 805 yards and 15 touchdowns. When you look at it overall, he's got 3 picks and 4 lost fumbles. So 7 turnovers in 20 games to go along with accounting for 62 touchdowns. So basically 62 touchdowns and 7 turnovers. You look at him prototypically, he and Fields both throw he and Lawrence are, their stats are pretty similar, but I would argue, obviously, that Fields moves better than Lawrence for sure. I think Lawrence is a little bit more polished at this point. But, I mean, if you look at Fields' measurables, 6'4", 230. Kid's got thighs the size of tree trunks, so as far as durability and being sturdy, not really going to have to worry about that. He's not a fragile guy. Throws a beautiful football. I truly feel like not only should Justin Fields be the number 1 quarterback taken and the number 1 overall pick for some lucky team next April, he's the best quarterback in Ohio State history. I don't even think it's close. And the guy's going to do that in 2 seasons playing with us. I look at Troy Smith, that's somebody that comes to mind, 3-year starter, Heisman Trophy winner. Troy obviously had the massive success. Look at Terrell Pryor. That's another one that comes to mind. We've had some pretty good collegiate quarterbacks. None of them even hold a candle to Justin Fields. So should be the number 1 overall pick, Ohio State's best quarterback ever.
I agree with the second part of that.
Oh, you don't really. Interesting. So you think he's Ohio State's best quarterback?
Yeah, I do. And honestly, one that you didn't even mention too, JT Barrett.
Agreed.
But anyways, Justin Fields for sure. If he comes out and wins a Heisman Trophy and a national title and just balls the fuck out, then absolutely. 2 years, he is far and away the best Ohio State quarterback. And I will also say that I do, in fact, think he is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. Okay?
Okay.
Just let those sink in.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay. Now, here's where I differ from you, though.
Okay.
I don't think he should be the first overall.
Bum, bum, bum.
I feel like you need the like hamster thing. Where he's like,
the dramatic hamster.
Yeah. Because those things can coexist. You know, you can be a better player than another player at the same position and not necessarily be taken higher. And here's why. I think you mentioned it a little bit. I think Lawrence is a little bit more polished. He's got more games under his belt. He's got more experience playing in high pressure situations, particularly national championship games and like playoff games, playing against the Alabamas. You know, he has the leg up there. He's thrown 2.5 times more passes than Justin Fields has, and has still maintained he's thrown 662 of 995 attempts.
He's thrown a few more times than Justin.
66.5 completion percentage to Justin Fields. Was it 258 to 375? So the sample size is there to prove consistency over a longer period of time. As well as, I mean, you still don't have somebody that's really like careless with the ball. He's 83 to 14 touchdown to interception ratio. He started last season really poorly, but people forget he threw like 24 touchdowns to 0 interceptions to finish that year. Like he had 8 in the first 6 weeks or something like that, and then didn't throw another pick the rest of the year. Like,
and if you remember, that was whenever it was Kelly Bryant and him, and they were fighting back and forth on getting playing time. So yeah,
last year. That would have been
no. 2 years ago.
Yes, 2 years ago. I was talking about last year before en route to the playoff.
Yes, yes, right.
Because he did not play well to start last year at all. He was he virtually had like a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio or some shit. But no, I think he just you have a better sample size to gauge him on. He's taller, he's 6'6", 220. Like,
looks like sunshine.
He looks like sunshine. And you know, who doesn't like Remember the Titans? But I don't know. I still think that when all is said and done, Justin Fields is a better quarterback. Just based on watching and like the progressions and how he's able to keep plays alive and how he's able to just maneuver and make every single throw on the field. Whereas I think Trevor Lawrence kind of has a benefit where he plays a lot of really bad teams a lot of times, you know. I don't love either of their situations, so I don't envy them. You said lucky person who's taken first overall, but that's looking like it's going to be the Jets. And
that actually is a good point. They would probably behoove both of them to potentially just be like, nope, not going pull an Eli. Honestly, that was the smartest thing. I mean, it looked like a dick in the time whenever it happened, but if he like worked out pretty well for the 2-time Super Bowl. I mean, Rivers never won a title, so you know that's what it comes down to. I think it's an interesting take, because I understand what you're saying of like, it's almost like Lawrence is in a way, because he's been a starter for a few years, having a really bad start to last season and showing he can play out of that kind of like lets you know, like he probably is a little bit more polished. And like, even if there are ups and downs, like he's almost a little bit more of the sure thing, I guess. And I know we feel similar on that. Like, yeah, I think Justin's probably overall, like I could see Justin definitely having a better career. Like
honestly, like, and this is shitty, but I think a lot of, and I won't say a lot of it, but I do think that there is the idea of he's the prototypical NFL white quarterback, whereas Justin Fields is a little bit more, he's that kind of newer, he's going to play more like a Patrick Mahomes or a Russell Wilson or a even a Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow is not a prototypical NFL quarterback. He doesn't make like the NFL execs say like this is the guy that has won in our league for years and years and years, because they're so set in it has to be a specific way. And so I think there is a level of kind of just they're not willing to take that chance on what's new and where the league is actually going.
I think that's a really good distinction because, pocket passer quarterbacks, you've got to be really elite nowadays if that's all you're going to do. A lot of the older guys like Roethlisberger, Rivers, Brady, like all of these guys that just are amazing throwers of the football but can't move worth a shit.
Right.
I think you're even kind of seeing now where it's like you don't have to be it was a little bit of a shift to like, oh, we want mobile quarterbacks. But now it's like the answer is always usually
getting hurt.
Exactly. Nobody can stay safe. I think the answer usually when you have two different opinions is usually almost always somewhere in the middle. And where Burrow, Fields, Wilson, and Mahomes, it's like we can run and you need to respect us being able to run, but we don't want to run. Yeah, like
not at all.
Exactly.
Lawrence can run too. Like Lawrence is not a shabby runner, but
that's why they're both just so damn good. Boys, you know what time it is. It's time to make some money here. We'll kind of walk a little bit through. Ryan and I, pretty good week, head-to-heads. Not really going to toot my own horn a little too much, but toodaloo-loot.
Chayton has, he's blasted my asshole.
Ryan came out the gates. Ryan came out the gates whipping me. I didn't want to talk about picks. I was like, I'm losing, blah, blah. And then Chayton caught lightning in a bottle.
7-1 the last 2 weeks.
7-1 last 2 weeks. 13-7 overall record. 6-3 in head-to-heads against Ryan. That's what I'm more proud of. But listen, we're not going to sit here and gloat on last week's winners. We're going to give you new winners. Week. Yeah, we're going to give you new winners this week. Here are my picks. So, Lions +3. Home against the Colts. What a debacle Atlanta has been this year. But consequently, Ryan and I were talking a little bit off the air. 5 very winnable games for the Lions here. And at 3-3, you get on a little bit of a rip, go 4-1, right back in the division hunt. I think that they're coming home high off that big win against Atlanta. They're coming home, getting 3 points. Give me that all day. Definitely going to take, when looking at it here, definitely going to take San Francisco +3 against the Seahawks. I think that terrible Seahawks defense has been overshadowed by how amazing Russell's been. Start the year, definitely like San Francisco, kind of getting back on track. Travel has me a little nervous, flying to Boston, coming back home, going up to Seattle. A little bit nervous on the travel, but at the same time, I think they get it done. We'll take the 3 there. How do you not take the Jets getting 19.5? Ryan and I said it the best when we were going over our picks. Ryan was just shaking his head, just going, it's just too many points. Sometimes it's that simple.
Just fucking disrespect.
Sometimes it's that simple. And listen,
the Jets are bad. Don't get me wrong. But that's just disrespectful.
That's just, come on now. 19.5. Good Lord. Interesting stat. NFL teams, and I know it's 19.5, but NFL spreads of 20 or more points, 1-6 all time. Take the points. History tells us that. And listen, hold your nose. I'm going to hear it for all week. Hold your nose and take it. Giants +10.5 at home on Monday night against Tampa. I don't like it either. Kind of the same philosophy. Everybody's going to say, oh, the Giants suck. Tom Brady good. They're going to definitely win. They are definitely going to win. 10.5 is the key number. I can see it landing right on 10. Well, we get the hook. That's a winner in my book. So that's what I got, Rizzle.
Got the hook. It's a winner in my book. I like it. So I had a little bit slower of a week last week. Ended up being 2-2 with two also head-to-head losses, of course, to Jay Booty, Nostradamus over here.
Man.
Thanks to fucking, I won't even say Todd Gurley, because him scoring that touchdown was honestly like, I needed that to cover. And so I was like, hell yeah, you just get a stop. It was that fucking bomb of a pass.
Galladay.
The fucking Galladay. Like, Jesus. You just got, all you have to do is just not give up a long play like that. That's it. That's all you have to do if you're the Falcons. And then, of course, last play of the game, because that was the second last play of the game, TJ Hawkinson just wide the fuck open. But anyways, my picks this week, as I sit at 13-9-1, 3-6 in head-to-heads, still pretty good record.
Good record. You go. You give me
Over
13-9.
So
yeah, I'll take that any day of the week.
But I also have Detroit +3 versus Indy. I've gone against Detroit enough times this season. I just think
learning. I like it.
Again, at home, yes. Indy has played pretty poorly. They're making my preseason pick look worse and worse by the week. So we'll see what happens coming off the bye. But I do like Detroit +3 in that game. I, too, like the Jets +19.5.
Just too many
Kansas
points.
City, just too many points. If you can lose by 19 and still cover, I'm gonna take you. I'm just gonna take you.
I'm gonna take.
I like that. You're a professional team. I don't care how bad you are. You can still at least cover 19. Especially with how close the games have been. Give it to me. And they didn't. They also, and we talked about this earlier. They played really well against Buffalo.
They did.
So
that they did.
Speaking of Buffalo, I've got New England +3.5 at Buffalo. New England, say what you will, but they know how to beat the teams in their own division. That's just it. Bill Belichick knows it. The Bills know it. They struggled against the Jets of all teams, and I don't think, as poorly as New England played last week, I don't think a Bill Belichick coach team will play that poorly against the same concept as Nick Saban. You know, I don't expect a Nick Saban coach team to play poorly in back-to-back weeks. I don't expect the same from Bill Belichick.
Agreed. I also think that Cam knows he's got some pressure. Cam said it in radio interviews. Like, if I play like that again, that change is going to be permanent. So, yeah, he knows. He knows. He'll come play way better.
Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, exactly. He knows, and I like that growth and self-awareness from Cam, that, like, hey, I got to get it together. Like, I like that.
When you're playing on a $1 million contract.
Oh, you know, the time to go.
You got to take care of business.
Right. Agreed.
And then my last pick, Pittsburgh +3.5 at Baltimore, which coincidentally will also be a head-to-head.
Yes.
Chayton and I this week. Chayton obviously taking Baltimore -3.5 coming off the bye. I'm going to take Pittsburgh +3.5. Look, here's my philosophy behind it. They lose by a field goal. And you cover. That's it. That's it. I think these teams are both they both play the same style of game.
It's always close between Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
It's always close. They're always the top two in the division, unfortunately, for my Browns. But I think it's still going to be a close game. You also don't have Mark Ingram for this game. The Steelers are pretty healthy, all things considered, and both teams have been playing defense like no other. So I like Pittsburgh coming off a big win at Tennessee, remaining undefeated after that game, going into Baltimore. So I like it.
Yeah,
We've
head to head.
two other
All I need
head-to-heads.
All I need is Lammy J. Give me Lammy J, number 8. I'm so low on Lamar Jackson.
Never call him Lammy J again.
Lammy J.
Don't ever. We've got two other head-to-heads in college football this week because why not?
Why not?
Why not? I told Chayton I had some picks from college that I liked. Side note, one that's not on here. I like Boston College plus 31. Just saying. 31, a lot of points. Boston College been playing pretty good. They're no slouch compared to like the Syracuses of the world or the Georgia Techs of the world. So Jeff Hafley's going to come in there and have them boys ready. So just watch it. It's going to be less than 30. It'll be 28, but it'll be less than 31.
You cash if it's 28.
It's right. Other head-to-heads we have, I like Kansas State plus 3.5. Going to West Virginia. Some disrespect, some very big disrespect from Vegas, I guess, right? Vegas?
Yeah. Line opened at 3.5. It really hadn't moved from there. So that's Vegas.
Being 16th in the country, you're going to a West Virginia team and you're going to be an underdog? Shoot.
Give me the years, baby.
I'll take that. Got a team that beat fucking Oklahoma. A good Oklahoma offense. Not defense, but a good Oklahoma offense. I'll take that. So, needless to say, Che Booty has his hometown, West Virginia.
Give me the years, baby.
Gross. Don't say that again. And then, and then I also like Arkansas plus 12 at Texas A&M.
Like, I'm going to take Texas A&M. Everybody knows I love Texas A&M. I have an affinity for them. So, yeah, I'm going to be on Texas A&M. But ultimately, it was just because Ryan has one side and I want the other. So we want action on this show. That's kind of where we'll leave it, like the Patriots have whenever you walk out. Do your job. Here at 85 yards, me and Ryan always doing our jobs. We got like 10 jobs. We got like 20 jobs, 30 jobs, 20, 30, 60.
I got so many jobs. I can't do a good Donald Trump impression.
Yeah. So many jobs. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Got the best jobs. The best jobs. Got all the jobs.
Oh, all right. This has been 85 yards. This is Chayton and I with
Ryan McClincy. Booty and boobs, if you will. So, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later, buddy.